Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. Hanson here. I have a new book for us to read for Mrs. Hanson's story time. We have Chester Raccoon and the Big Bad Bully. Do we like bullies? No, we do not. Bullies are mean and pick and tease on other people or kids. And we don't like bullies, and we are not bullies. We are kind and nice and make sure that we are nice to everyone. Even if someone doesn't treat us nice, we make sure that we treat them nice back, right? So, Chester Raccoon and the Big Bad Bully is by Audrey Penn. She is our author. And she is also the person who wrote The Kissing Hand. Have you guys ever? I don't think I've read that story because I don't have that book. I need some really good books for my library, and I don't have that book yet. But she wrote that story. It's a really good story. And then it's illustrated by Barbara L. Gibson. So she's the person who drew the pictures. Let's see. What do you guys think it's going to be about? What do you think is going to happen with the bully? I hope Chester's not the bully. And I hope he learns to be kind and nice to whoever the bully is, because that's what we need to do, right? We don't treat others the way they treat us, right? If they're treating us mean, we be nice to them, right? We treat others the way we want to be treated. So if we want to be treated nice and kindly, then we treat someone nice and kind, right? Chester Raccoon stood in front of his tree hollow looking gloomy. So what does it mean to look gloomy? Sad, right? His younger brother Ronnie and his best friend Cassie stood beside him. "We don't want to go to school," Chester told his mother. "We want to stay home with you. Please, may we stay home with you?" "I thought you liked school," said Mrs. Raccoon. "We do," said Chester. "Then why do you want to stay home with me?" Chester lowered his head and shuffled his foot. The early, ooh, he explained in a very quiet voice. Mrs. Raccoon reached out tenderly and lifted Chester's head to her hand. "What did you say?" Chester gazed at his mother's loving eyes. "Mm, there's a bully at school." "And he's horrible," cried Ronnie. "He's big and mean, and he has giant claws on his hands and feet," wailed Cassie. "Oh my goodness, look at this bully." "And fangs!" screeched Chester. "And fire comes out of his nose. And if you get in his way, he'll step on your face and squash you like a bug." "Like a bug!" echoed Ronnie. "Oh my, he sounds very scary," says Mrs. Raccoon. "Bullies can be very difficult. I'll tell you what," she told the frightened cubs. "I'll walk you to school and back, and we can decide what to do about this bully. Look at this bully back here. Would you want to hang out with him? Do you think maybe they're over exaggerating? Do you know what over exaggerating means? It means like something might be little, but then you make it way bigger than it is. Maybe. We'll see. I'm hoping they're over exaggerating because I do not want to see a fire breathing raccoon that squashes them like bugs." When the raccoons reached the school tree, Chester tugged at his mother's arm. "That's him. That's the bully." "Oh, it's a badger." He pointed to a trembling finger at a badger standing by the pond. "Isn't he awful? Isn't he the most scary looking bully you ever seen?" "Oh my, yes," whispered Mrs. Raccoon. "But I'm sure we can work things out." Before leaving, she gently fluffed Chester's mask and playfully tweaked Ronnie's nose. "Be brave," she told the cubs, and she gave each of her sons a comforting kiss on their palm. After school, Chester, Ronnie, and Cassie told Mrs. Raccoon how the badger bullied his classmates at school. First he snatched away from a ball away from Squirrel and popped it. Oh, that is not very nice. Then he climbed on top of the jungle gym and squashed the possum's fingers until the possum fell to the ground. Oh, this guy, I do not like this guy at all, do you? Then he spooked a doe who bumped into the skunk who got scared and he sprayed and stunk. Ugh, phew, skunk is stinky. Even Owl Teacher couldn't get him to behave. Sometimes animals are bullies because they don't know any other way to be, explained Mrs. Raccoon. But I think there's a way you can change things. Go get your friends and bring them to our tree. I want to share a story. This is the teacher. Could you imagine if Mrs. Hanson got hit in the head with an acorn? How angry would I be? See, Mrs. Owl Teacher Owl does not look thrilled either, huh? A few minutes later, a crowd of eager young forest animals stood at the base of Chester's treehouse, and Mrs. Raccoon began her tale. You see, they're all gathered around the tree, and Mrs. Raccoon's going to tell a story. Once, a long time ago, there was a secret forest sprinkled in yellow stones. The stones were round and polished, big and little, and smooth enough to hold. Every animal in the forest collected and treasured them. See, these are all the round stones, the yellow stones. One day, an animal found a blue stone. It was very exciting since no animal had ever seen a blue stone. But the blue stone was rough and dull, without any polish or shine. And it had sharp, prickly points sticking out of it, making it really hard to hold. Careful not to hurt your paws, the animals carried the stone to the center of the forest and placed it on top of a tree stump for everyone to see. Perhaps the stone is blue because it popped out of the ground too soon, suggested Fox. So the animals waited and watched for many days and nights to see if the blue stone would turn yellow. But the stone remained blue, and its outer shell remained sharp and pointy. I believe the stone is blue because that is the color it is meant to be, said the very wise snake. Therefore we shall treasure the blue stone for the color it is. If we want to hold the stone as we do our yellow stones, we have to work together to smooth out its outer shell. So first the woodpeckers took turns chipping off the stone's sharp, prickly points with their beaks. Then the chipmunks rolled the stones with their noses, while other animals shined and buffed the stone with tree bark and fluffy tails. In time, the blue stone was smooth and shiny as the yellow stones. Mrs. Raccoon smiled down at the young animals listening to her story. The badger at your school is just like the blue stone, she explained to Chester and his schoolmates. He is the badger, and that is the way he is meant to be. But if you work together, I think you can smooth out his bullying ways. What do you guys think? Let's see what they do. The next day at school, when the recess bell rang, all of the little animals went outside together. They huddled close to one another and walked to the bully in one great confident pack, with Chester in front, holding a ball. At first the bully looked at them with a twinkle in his eye, thinking, "I'll get one of you." But as the pack got nearer and nearer to him without a hint of fear, the badger's expression changed. His eyes widened. His jaw dropped open. His knees grew weak and wobbly. Suddenly it was the bully who was scared. He began to whimper and squeal and thought, "They're coming to get me back." But there was nowhere to run. He just stood there with his back up against the tree, and his schoolmates grew closer and closer and closer. Finally, Chester was nose to nose with the trembling badger. He narrowed his eyes and looked as serious as his little furry face would allow. I think that's what he looked like. Then, without hesitation, he held up the ball, looked straight into the bully's eyes, and asked, "Want to play?" "Huh?" The surprised bully stopped shaking. He looked at his classmates who were laughing and offering friendship. "You want me to play with you?" He squealed with delight. He gently took the ball out of Chester's hands. "Okay, I'll play." So in one short moment the badger softened and the bully became a friend. The badger didn't need to bully anyone ever again. Chester glanced toward the wooden path and saw his mother watching and smiling. She placed a kiss on her palm and showed it to her son. Chester did the same and then joined in all the fun. So now they're all friends. So that story taught us that if someone is being mean to us, we just need to be nice to them, right? Because sometimes do we have bad days? Yeah. Or sometimes we kind of grumpy? Yeah. Sometimes do we say things that we might not mean or that might be hurtful or mean to somebody else that we didn't mean to say? Yeah. So if someone was really nice to you, even when you were mean, wouldn't that make you feel better? I think so too. So, making sure we're always treating each other nice and kind, even if someone isn't treating us nice and kind. And I know it's super hard. When someone's being mean to you, you want to be mean right back, but we can't. So, the important thing is to be nice to them. And if it continues, you have to tell an adult, right? Because then sometimes adults can help us with what we need to do and to help. So, and give us ideas of how we can fix it. So, we're not being mean to each other, right? So I hope you guys like that story, and I thought it was really cute. I like the kissing hand stories. There's like a whole series that goes along with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, guys. Bye.